Good morning, everybody. My name is Philip Ailes from, cloudy Jacksonville, Florida. And I'm here today talking with John C. King. He's the owner and CEO of his company. And if uh, you want to talk to him later on, let me know and we'll make you connected. But right now, John, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hey, thanks, Phil, for having me here today. Yeah, I'm John King. I'm retired out of the military after 25 years being in the Marine Corps. I'm currently a contractor W-2 for the Marine Corps still, and I own two companies called King Globe Enterprise Solutions, which is my recruiting firm. And I also own another company called Strategic Engagement Consulting, which is a federal consulting firm. So thank you for allowing me to have this platform to
Mhm.
get out here and market and tell folks a little bit about what we got going on between both the recruiting firm and the consulting firm. So as a service disabled vet, a veteran owned small business, working out here in the market, trying to just figure out learning, right? It's a lot of learning, a lot of absorbing, a lot of just talking to professionals like yourself, or talking to professionals with inside of contracting, or talking to professionals inside of recruiting, or going to job fairs, or going to industry days. It is a lot of absorbing. There are probably manuals and there are probably books, but it's not the same way like when you were in the military, right? You go pull pub 1 2 3 4 and learn how to tie your shoes, or pull pub
Yes.
one, yes, or pull 1 2 3 4 and learn how to set up a field containment area for an exercise or something you're about to do. So it's exciting, and but also I would say frustrating at the same time. So again, the owner of two companies. um so what I'd like to focus on, I think I had three topics that I was wanting to talk about, was veteran transition,
Okay.
the companies themselves, and then going into home world deliveries, expo up in Philadelphia, June 14th through 15th.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Missouri, Edina, Missouri, Columbia. My grandparents lived in Edina, and I grew up, and then I spent my high school years in Columbia, Missouri, with my mom. And then joined the Marine Corps at 17. She had to sign the paperwork. I turned 18 in boot camp. Since I was west of the Mississippi, I went to MCRD San Diego, Marine Corps Recruit and
Mhm.
Training Depot, San Diego. I did 4 years, roughly 4.5 years in the reserves, came on the active reserve program. I started out as a food service specialist, came on the active reserve as a comptroller, fiscal budget technician, people that control the
Mhm.
contracts. And then got my commission in 2004 after two attempts, or one previous attempt in 2022. I did not have my degree. I attempted. I thought the program would let me go because I was only shy a little bit, but they were
Mhm.
like, hey, try again another year, high 300 or 299 PFT, high academics. I got my commission, and I got commissioned as a logistician. Got my first duty station out of Okinawa, Japan. 7 months later, I was deployed in Iraq. So I did a little over 14 years officer time, or whatever 14 and 5.5 years of
What'd
active
you do in
duty.
Iraq?
I was a truck platoon commander. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. So I owned all the trucks. Well, we did convoy escort security from Fallujah all
Yeah,
around to
Anbar Province.
yeah, all over Anbar province. We would also go into Baghdad, and we would go north Iraq. Never went down to the Kuwaiti border, but we stayed in Anbar, and then all over into Baghdad too. So
How was your experience with all that?
uh, everyone came home, right? Everyone came home.
Exactly.
There were definitely scars. I'd have my platoon, my Marines would be complaining to me like, "Hey, sir, why we got to keep all our PPE on? Why we got to do all this?" Well, I want you to walk when you get out of here, be able to hear, um, and you keep all your limbs. And did we get blown up? Yes. Did we get shot at? Yes. Did everyone live? Yes. I can't confirm or deny if, that was 2006, it was many, many years ago. So I can't confirm, deny if they're still living, but I did bring them home.
Well, no, you accomplished your mission.
Yeah, I accomplished the mission, brought them home. I do run into them here on Camp Lejeune from time to time. I'm currently in the Camp Lejeune library just hanging out, because I was running around doing some errands on base. But I do run into them out in town. I ran into one of my A drivers I ran into my uh, the front driver, my lead driver,
Yeah.
my lead driver on the convoy, and I was like, I know you from somewhere, and we had a conversation. It was pretty funny, and his wife and kids were there, and I was like, man, this is amazing. You're all grown up. You're gonna retire as a first sergeant. I mean, this is, you were just a sergeant back then or a corporal back then, right? When we were hanging out, so that was yeah, those are experiences that will shape you. They shape you for the rest of your life, right? Being in Iraq, having a platoon. I was doing some workup training in Okinawa. I don't remember this lieutenant colonel's name, but he thought I was too arrogant as a prior service lieutenant. And he was like, "I hope to God that my platoon, hope to God that never one of my sons or any of my Marines ever get stationed with you because you're going to get people killed." And that hung on me for my entire deployment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a rough thing when and somebody doesn't have uh, that type of encouragement or
It was we were doing some convoy ops, doing some training. He was in reserver. Somebody else was like, hey, this is how the new thing are going on, because he did the first push in like 2003 2001, right?
yeah,
He did the Bagram push, and then he did the 2003 push. So
that was easy.
but the doctrine changes, right? We're in
Yes.
20, we're in 2005, 6. I think I'm training in 2005, going to deployment in 2006, where you was very kinetic in 2011 to 2003, and in 2003 to 2005 kinetic, to where we went into full on guerrilla warfare, IEDs, right? You
Hmm.
couldn't always see your enemy, right? You couldn't always see your enemy. So that was definitely, that kind of stuck in my craw. When I came back to Okinawa after deployment, I sought him out, and then I was like, I'm gonna let it go. Right? I just let it go. I was going to go find him and be like, everybody's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's alive. But definitely lessons learned. As we were doing our workups, my two staff NCOs were like, "Hey, sir, we need you to stop being a doer, because if you don't stop being a doer, then this platoon won't be successful." And I put my hands up. I said, "All right, gentlemen, it's on you." I am still friends with my motor T chief. He lives here in Jacksonville, and then my maintenance chief. I holler at him every now and then. So, like, you do get lifetime friends from a deployment like that, right? Just it just happens that way. There are Marines that I'm still connected with on LinkedIn that I talk to from that time. A lot of my experience and networking is part of the military, right? So it's like a love
Hmm.
hate, love
Oh
love
yeah, we all have that love-hate
yeah,
relationship.
love hate relationship, right? And when I'm in a bind, I'll call somebody in the Marine Corps to help me out. When I first got out of the Marine Corps, when I retired back in 2020, ran my head up against a brick wall trying to get hired. Finally called one of my old, logistics mentor supervisors, like, "Hey, sir, help me out. I see you're in Booz Allen." He worked his tail off, or did what he needed to do. We got me into Booz Allen. This next job that I have is, we'd, I guess, previously worked together. He just found me on the street. He's like, "Hey, you want a new job?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'll leave Booz Allen, come work for you."
Yeah.
And we did. And so, again, love hate, but more probably in a even balance, even kill. My military experience is definitely aligning to to making me into a better CEO and owner. Is it just me? Sure, it is. It is just me. But but for
Hey,
me, it's not. It's
me
not gonna.
too.
It's not for. Yeah, I'm a solo entrepreneur, but it's like, as I am moving toward that and looking at getting profit and looking at contracts or looking at clients, it's like, I'm going to be looking to hire the right people, right? Hire the right people, keep them employed. I can keep profit
Mhm.
margin low because I'm retired. I'm 100% disabled. And veterans, don't care who you are, this is a foot stomper. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Make sure you claim everything on your VA.
Yes.
I retired in the middle of the pandemic, 2020. The pandemic had just kicked off in February of 2020. I had just got my official retirement papers. In March 1, I was officially retired.
Wow. And how was that transition for you? Because I know when I came back, because I retired out of the reserves
Okay.
and I was doing contract work over in Iraq.
Yeah.
And I want to go back because I was making great money
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything, but when I came back here, no one would hire me.
No, so not to fast forward to Home World Delivery. That's what
Mhm.
I'm going to talk about at Home World Delivery. They asked me to do a roundtable, and I said, yeah, sure. I could have emphasized my companies, but my roundtable is going to be focused on hiring veterans, focused on hiring and partnering with veterans in supply chain operations.
Yes.
Right, like a little prequel is, who rescued the day during FEMA? The military. Who'd rescue the day during COVID? The military.
Military.
Who is deployed at a disaster relief? I know FEMA's got some great capabilities, but who do they piggyback off of? The military.
Well, yeah, because the National Guard is responsible for each
Right.
state,
Right.
and then they can deploy reserves to go back those up.
Right. And so to tell the supply chain people, like, if you need someone in a crisis, pay a vet well, or partner with a vet like myself that is a federal contractor, or that can find you vets as a recruiter. I'm going to get you qualified people that have worked in way more stressful situations than just a change management or an acquisition, or, all of, from the port thing that happened a couple years ago in the port of Los Angeles. You'd have given that to some veterans in your company, they would have figured it out.
Well, I look at it as the government caused that one.
Yeah, they did, but they
Because Biden lifted all the tariffs off of Chinese goods that Trump put on, and then they flooded the market.
Yeah. I mean, they have actually rerouted all of that now. So now it's Gulf ports and East Coast ports. It used to
Mhm.
Los Angeles used to own like 50 to 60% of the lion's share, and now it's down to like 30, and the rest of it have been distributed to Gulf ports and East Coast ports as far as like um, port access goes. So, I stay aware of that knowledge, and that's what I'm going to, bring to that conference. But back to the transition as a retiring Marine Corps officer with an MBA and strategic background from working at the Pentagon, mentoring and advising Norwegians, Liberians, Koreans, Japanese, and Iraqis, that or Iraqi units and adjacent units, and then I guess large exercises when I was in UFG and Key Resolve, and then in Liberia like ECOWAS. Should have been able to access the civilian market. No, they wanted me to start at entry level doing data pushing as a logistician. And I wasn't opposed to it. I just never focused on the data like Excel, Tableau,
Mm-mm.
right? So
We need to PowerPoint the heck
yeah,
out of
yeah.
something.
So PowerPoint to heck. Again, veterans, mil spouses,
Yeah.
study the market that you're going to go into. Get those certifications. Now, the certifications only open the door. You still need to have those experiences, and that's where networking and partnerships come in, right? So you got to have the networking. You got to have those partnerships to be able to get in. Again, in my transition as a semi-senior um, military officer getting out, the civilian market was not amenable to me. Where did I start gaining? When I converted my resume into government consulting, right? That's where I started
Mhm.
getting more interviews. That's where I started getting a lot more interviews. And then Booz Allen finally gave me the offer. After 8 months of searching, I took the offer, and then I moved on to doing something else. But that was also because I had a government consulting background, right? Uh,
Yes.
as Booz Allen, with Booz Allen Hamilton. So veterans, spouses, um, are active military getting out. You got to network. You got to get out of your comfort zone, right? Like my LinkedIn profile now is I'm not. I'm just going to make up thirds. I'm not sure if it's true. I'm just make up thirds, right? A third of my network is you know veteran mil spouse
Mhm.
military community. Another third of my network is government contracting, straight up regular civilians and government contracting associates with inside government contracting. The other third of my network is civilian recruiting entities around recruiting. Right. That's how my network has been brought up into thirds. So you got to get out of it, because I was thinking about some things to say when I came before here. I was like, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone for one. Right. You're going to have to branch out outside of your your home base will always be the military. That's fine. Your home base will always be where you're at, but you're going to have to branch out to learn like some industry tactics. You want to get into pharmaceutical, you're going to have to partner with some pharmaceutical people. You want to be a banker, you're going to have to partner with banking people, right? Whatever business that you want to start, you want to be an educator and you want to talk to people. Well, you probably want to go to Toastmaster and get Toastmaster public speaking certifications, because that will pay off. That way you can charge $15,000, $20,000 for a speaking engagement, because you're now Toastmaster. Those civilian certifications matter when you're working with civilians. C++, cybersecurity, whatever, or a logistics supply chain certification matters to those people. Matters with the government too, but just needs to be industry standard for the government, ISO 9000 or whatever the government certifications that you need to have to be in compliance to perform some of those duties. So certifications matter. So listen, vets, family members, transition people coming out, your military record, if you've been in for a long time, it's got a lot of great information in it. You have to just pull it out, right? Like, there are now things called ChatGPT, Google Barb, AI is really taking over. You can plug your resume, take the job description, and tell it to match it. It will spit you out something very similar. Now you're going to have to do a little bit of
Tweaking.
Yeah, you're going to have to do some minor tweaking, but it's going to get you pretty much on target as long as you're telling the truth. Now, if the job description says you need to have C++ and 5 years background in cybersecurity, and you don't, as a vet coming out, I wouldn't.
Job for you then.
Yeah, I would not advise you to get that job. Also, listen, it's okay to take the entry level job.
Yes,
it's okay to take the entry level job. I know there's this thing about underemployment. You don't have to stay underemployed. You gain that experience and you move on. It's okay to go to Walmart and get a job. It's okay to go to Home Depot. It's okay to drive DoorDash. You can use these experiences.
Those are soul crushing.
I know.
Because I was used to international, multi-agency, multi-jurisdictional, multi-everything, where I coordinated with them. And then I looked at it and was like, and then I come back here and all I'm good for is a security guard.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, how is that possible?
And that's because that's what, I don't want to generalize public sector, but public sector, we're better than just security guards, right? We can probably take your entire security program and revamp it. Don't be scared of what your veteran and military spouses bring to the table. They have been through a lot of experiences. Military spouses, for example, their member is gone. They must PCS the entire household. That is an entire operation within itself. They have to move the household with children, dogs, everything, contact the base, get a hold of the movers, book your plane, load up the car, go to wherever you are, because especially during the time of the wars of between 2001 and, most recently, 2021, for those 20 years of fighting OIF, military members were gone. They were gone for a year. They were gone for 7 months. The military didn't care if you were deployed. You PCS'd in the middle of your deployment.
Yes. I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Or you buy a house and then they have to move everything. But and you know what? That's something I took for granted, because I think the spouses and family members are kind of overlooked.
Yeah, they have great skills, they have similar skills to their military members because they've had to adjust on the fly. They've had to take care of a sick kid when somebody's not been there. So, those are just some attributes and accolades from the entire military circle that public sector, I understand. And you see the Rambo movies and you see the Call of Duties and you see all these movies and war shows. Sure, that's Hollywood glorified, but actually go watch like a National Geographic, like where they
It's
follow platoons.
5%.
Yeah, go watch them follow. Go on YouTube and watch them follow a platoon, or go to National Geographic as they're following a platoon in and out of the mountains of Afghanistan, or follow a platoon as they're tromping around Iraq or something like that. Right? They're going to be combat time, and there's going to be a lot of dead time. Right?
Lots of dead time.
Lots of dead time, quiet time. So, civilian employers, we are going to show up every day. We only really need a few things. We need loyalty, meaning like, the right amount of pay, value in what we do, value in who we are as a person, and value what we do at work. Like, hands down, you do that for a transitioning service member or a military spouse within their first couple civilian jobs, they'll probably stay with you for a long time. You give them, a sense of purpose. You say, I value your work, I value your time, I give you the right pay. You'll get a loyal member for a long time. Right? They're going to show up to work every day at 8, like you tell them to, or whatever time, and they're going to leave when you tell them to. They may even ask you weird questions like, "Hey, can I go take a break?" Yes, you can take a break. Okay, I don't know. I don't know.
Or we communicate what we're doing and say, hey, because at least somebody in this office knows where I went.
Yeah. I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be right back. Somebody calls or whatever.
Yeah. So, my old profile on LinkedIn used to say veteran advocate. I'm still a veteran advocate, but I've just changed my profile to match up to be, service disabled veteran owned business owner, as I'm doing the marketing for either recruiting or, I'm notifying the federal government. Yes, I'm open for business. I'm willing to do logistics and, IT services and things like that. So, as a transition, the companies, again, recruiting, King Global Enterprise Solutions. I got a job fair immediately following you that I'm going to go to and shake hands and kiss babies and see what clients I can drum up. And then, big thing is the Homeworld delivery, June 14th and 15th in Philadelphia. I will be there networking with the large supply chain and logistics companies across the world in the United States, from the Walmarts, from the Zappos to the DoorDashes, to Carhill, to JLL, to JB Hunt, and drumming up business, but also showing veteran pride and showing how veterans get her done in the civilian spaces, right? So it's a twofold for me. It's to build clientele in my businesses as a solo entrepreneur, but it's also to advocate for veterans and military spouses, because somebody's got to advocate for them. And me being a recruiter, it's just easier for me to say, I can give you great talent. You want more of me? Here's a smorgasbord of great talent that I can find. So, I did see some questions in here, so I guess we can use the last little bit for questions if you had something.
I did, but what about the transitioning out. I spoke with a guy the other day about he deals with pre-veteran. What would you say it's the best time to start your pre-retirement or pre-getting out? Because one of the hardest things for a lot of the veterans I've spoken with, it's that all their connections are in the military.
Which is true. Which is true. Your connections are in the military currently, but you got to start early enough.
Yes.
24 months is what people recommend, but that's, you're getting out. You did your 4 years or 5 or 6, and you're not. So that, year 4, you should be connecting on LinkedIn, and you should be using all of your state resources. Every state has veteran resources. Just
Well,
go
there's
to
supposed to be 40,000 or 45,000 organizations that say they help veterans.
they there are 45,000 organizations that say they help veterans. I have volunteered and currently kind of volunteer through Vets to Industry, Brian Arrington's team. I know I'm giving him a
Yeah.
plug, but Brian Arrington's team, very good about gathering all those 45,000 folks. But what I'm talking about, not just the VSOs, I'm just talking about your state, your local state.
Hmm.
If you want to, okay, I'm from Missouri, but I'm getting out in Texas. I don't want to stay in Texas. You start connecting with the Missouri state local veteran organizations before you get out. They will the state organization, state funded organization. I'm not talking about
Yes.
private funded or nonprofit. State organizations, they will lead you. They have smorgasbord of things, especially in North Carolina. That's where I live, and the state is very good. I'm about to go to the event I'm going to is called NC for Me. It is sponsored by the Department Chamber of Commerce and the Department of Veteran Affairs. Governor Cooper set it up a few years ago because he liked to keep all his state in town. So NC for Me goes around educating businesses, bringing job fairs together, getting vets vets and family members employed from local employers from around the state. So that's just North Carolina in general. But as far as like your own individual state, research your own individual state. Type in the Department of Affairs of Texas, California, Hawaii. Contact those folks. Go to their shows, their outreach. You're going to learn a lot of information, right? Your local VA, wherever you want to retire, the local VA in your region, contact them. They will give you resources and information, right? They may have those VSOs. You're going to have to weigh your own on the VSOs. And like I understand when you were getting out and others maybe gotten out within the last 10 years, that all that wasn't there. It just completely changed. Even changed in the last 4 when I got
Hmm.
out, right? When I was getting out, I was looking for skill bridge programs, not just hire our heroes and the other kind of,
Yes.
Department of Chambers skill bridge, like, here locally, Duke, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Lowe's, and maybe one or more, a couple other large companies in North Carolina have SkillBridge, right? So
Hmm.
even things have changed. So many resources. But back to answer your questions, and we see we only have a little bit left, is you got to start networking early, and you got to find those veteran advocates early. You can connect with me and others like me, but you got to start networking early. Your network may be in the military, and you may feel upset and you're leaving, or you're leaving your buddies behind. Keep in contact with. I just explained a story about my previous Marines that I'm still in contact with. It requires a little effort, and you keep in contact with those people, but go talk to the chaplain, go talk to your mental health service providers. Let's normalize, like, getting out of the military is stressful. It's okay,
Yeah.
right?
And that's
That's
why I focused on emotional or self awareness,
Yeah, it's
because
okay.
I realized I didn't have any because
Yeah,
I was always pushing forward. I never looked back.
right. I talk to folks like you. I've talked to folks to you all the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I had a window. I was non-selected for major, right? And then the Marine Corps allowed me to retire at 5 years. Thankful for that because they gave me a retirement. So I had a 60-month
Yeah.
window. But did I start at 60 months? Technically, yes. I had a LinkedIn account. When did I start really being aggressive? When I was about 2 years out, a year to 2 years out before I EAS, to as far as like learning and getting the resources and those kind of things. So vets, you're not alone. Don't think you need to get in a cave and go alone. As a federal contractor, there was a program that I was too small to compete for, but the VA was looking to hire someone to do veteran outreach across the VA and the White House. We're looking to do veteran and suicide outreach across the entire country, with call centers
Hmm.
and resources and pamphlets and marketing. You're not alone. The information is out there. Don't just think because you got out. Call somebody. Call the suicide hotline. Call your local military one source. Call somebody. Like, again, I know we talked about the McDonald's and the DoorDashes. For a junior vet, 4 to 10 years, that may not get a lot of disability, even though you claim a disability.
Mhm.
Go to college, use that money. I don't care what you get a degree in: basket weaving, um, psychology. I have a degree in psychology, history. Go get a degree, go get a trade, go learn how to drive a truck, go be an electrician, go, learn about infrastructure, go get a trade, use that VA money because they pay for school and they give you BAH. Right. So, I mean, it's a little bit of humbling,
It's
but
a lot better than what I had.
yeah, of course. And that's taking the GI Bill, those kind of things. But like,
Yeah.
you get out, use it. Now you have 10 years. I think it's lifetime now. I think the law has changed. You have lifetime. But like, if you don't have an immediate plan and you're going to go live in your, you know, proverbial mom and dad's basement, there are resources that, can get you on your feet. Go to a trade school, go to a college, get paid for that. The VA has great veteran disabled programs. Just go out to the local, just go out and research online for the VA. It's called VREP or VRE. Yeah, it's called VRE. Not the Virginia Rails system or whatever, but it's the VRE um, employment thing for the VA. So plenty of resources. I know we probably needed more time to go over
Oh
that.
yeah, that's just another conversation.
Yeah, this is definitely this is part of my passion. Again, I probably should have started the intro on why I created these companies. I understand the federal government and I want to solve their problems, but I also I was a person that was getting out and I want to make things a little easier. That's why I own a recruiting company to help you ease into the transition, and why I'm fighting for federal contracts, because I can immediately hire people.
So how can they get a hold of you?
Through LinkedIn. I'm at John C. King on LinkedIn. Um, I have my various emails and social media. I because I own a recruiting company, I do marketing. So I'm on
Yes.
Twitter, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I don't like Snapchat, but I'm on TikTok. So I'm on the main 5 or 6 social
Yes.
media channels, to include LinkedIn. Right, LinkedIn is very professional, um, and you can come over there. You can connect with me. Don't be mad if I don't return your text in like a day. I am busy running 2
Right.
companies, and I have a W-2, and I have and I'm married. I forgot to apologize. I'm married. I have a wife and 4 kids, one in college at Chapel Hill. One's going to be a senior in high school this summer. Then I have a 12-year-old going to 7th grade, and we have a little 5-year-old. So good
Hey,
times.
congratulations and all that. You got your hands full.
Got my hands
I'm
full,
an
and
empty nester.
yeah, and a dog.
So,
We got
oh,
a 2-year-old uh, Australian Shepherd mix who is high energy. Right. So
yeah.
um, I
Well,
should opened up with the whole family and all of that. I think I was more
I
professional.
was trying to get you there, but you had your mind honed in on what you were thinking,
Yeah.
and I greatly appreciate you taking the time to talk with me, because I love doing these conversations because people need to know,
Yeah. Yeah. They do.
and that we're not alone.
You're not
And
alone.
there's a lot of people out there, like somebody said that there's 200,000 military personnel or service members getting out of the military every year.
Yes. They do get out. They do get out every year. And so, 1/3 have a great plan, 1/3 have a medium plan, and the other third have no plan.
Yeah.
I'm after the 1/3 that have no plan.
Yes. And that's where I come in, and I look at it as, if I get you mentally in the right mindset about loving yourself and bringing it to others of your experiences, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Because
Correct.
one of the things that I noticed resonated with you, it's be adaptable.
Yeah, yeah. You have to be amenable. You have to be adaptable. You have to be able to pivot. You did that in the military all the
Yes,
time.
all the
You,
time.
you did it. I don't care if you were on the flight line filling up jets and then you had some emergency. You had to adapt to it, right? I don't care if you were, admin in the supply warehouse, and all of a sudden they said, "Hey, inspections in 30 days." Well, everybody stops
GI party.
stops what they're doing and goes to inspection. So you the skills, it's like everything I learned by kindergarten, which is great in mental health. If you actually follow mental health, you do learn a lot by the time you're 5 because your brain is
Mhm.
developing. But everything you learn to be successful in the civilian world is very transferable in the military. Just because you are not aiming your weapon down range at an enemy doesn't mean you can't take that transferable skill of like sighting, intelligence, building plans to now take on a cyber threat,
Yes.
or now go after, you know, the government has great programs for folks out there, like maybe proliferation and child abduction services, right? They need vets to go after these people either online or in person or wherever, right? So there are a
Mhm.
lot of there are listen, vets, family members, you don't have to go back to the government. The government is designed for you to go back to.
Yes.
Our federal consulting is designed for you to go back to. You don't have to. You just need to like network yourself into pure commercial market. When I mean pure, is the Walmarts and the pharmaceuticals and the banks and the retail and shipping. The government is 2.2 million employees. They're perfectly fine of hiring you. And then federal contractors is probably 4.4 or 5 million, because for every one federal
Yeah.
employee, there's probably 2 to 3 contracting employees. So large organizations, that's, we'll just take an estimate. That's 5 or 7 million jobs out there that as a transitioning member. But remember, there's 320 million people. So that means there's 323 other million jobs out there
Exactly.
that are not the government, that are not federal contracting, right? So broaden your horizons. You do not have to be myopic in your one space that you are in. You can expand. So many resources out there. Don't just be like, I was a grunt. I don't know what else I'm gonna do with my life. My Marines are out. I don't know. I can't lead. You can lead, right? I
And
can.
that's the thing about it is getting them to understand that and where they fit in. And I greatly appreciate you being here. We're about 7 minutes over.
Yeah, I know, but
But we could sit and have
yeah,
this conversation all day long.
yeah. Bring me
Because
back on. Bring me back on. I know
yeah,
it took a
let's do
little bit
another
for us to
one.
get here. Yeah, let's do another one. I'll build my own script, or you give me a script. As you can see, I can rabbit hole all day. So just give me a
Well,
script, and we'll go.
I like unscripted, candid conversations because you get to see the real person rather than what their verbiage is.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
So hey, thank you very much,
hey,
and
thanks,
thank
Philip.
you
You have a good
everybody
one, man.
for watching. A John C. King, owner, CEO, multiple organizations, and great guy. And I thank you. And we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you.
All right, thank you very again. Thanks again. All right, have a good one.